Hello and welcome to another episode of A Friendly Film Take, the film podcast, vodcast by Film News Blitz, where we have friendly film discussions and friendly film debates. And it's me, Dan Lawrence, with my regular co-host, Rhys Stacey. And we're going to chat about a bunch of stuff today. But Rhys, first of all, how are you?
As you can tell from my eyes, a little bit tired. But what we can assume from that is I've been watching a lot of things, having a lovely time. I'm ready for winter and cold and movie nights and hot chocolates and rewatching Elf for the 72nd time.
Oh, okay. Do you know what? Do you know what's really mad? I've never actually watched Elf.
Oh my God, sort that out this year.
Yeah, I suppose I will have to. Because I think we'll do a Christmas episode at some point where we talk about Christmas films.
We can talk about your first experience of watching Elf.
Yeah, but we're not going to do that today. No. Well, I'm going to ask you quickly first. What have you been watching recently then? You said you've been watching loads of stuff. What have you been watching?
I have made it finally to the end of House of the Dragon Season 2.
Oh.
So that was a bit of a binge
That's
watch
been
situation.
renewed for a fourth season.
Indeed. And I've forgotten the name of it already, but the spin-off show that will be coming out next year.
Oh, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms.
Thank you very
It's
much.
already been renewed for a second season.
Wild. But they know it'll be fantastic. They know it will.
I didn't finish second season of Not How to Train Your Dragon, House of the Dragon, because I just got bored.
Why did you get bored?
Like they were really stretching it out. It felt very thin on the ground compared to a very, very packed first series.
That's true. I think when it's that political, there's that much, I suppose, expositional dialogue scenes. The remedy to that is your hyper-violent action scenes. I do think the second season lacked as much.
I think it was too much talking around tables about people who weren't there and were talking around tables somewhere else.
Suffering from the Phantom of the Menace.
I needed a bit more conflict. I felt like, I think what we're doing here is we're stretching out this. This could really have been half a season, but we're stretching it out, was my feeling. And I just kind of, my interest waned. Maybe something else came in, because they do a weekly release, don't they? They don't dump it all out all at once. So that was my... So, but you enjoyed it.
I think watching 1 and 2 that close together, you're having a good time. So you almost let the good graces of season 1 carry you through the kind of patchy bits of season 2. But yeah, no, by and large, I love a high fantasy medieval setting, and I love gore and hyper violence as well. So
very good Matt Smith performance in that series as well.
For sure. I will watch anything with him in, though, truth be told.
Back to the end of today's episode. Ooh. But first, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about my recent cinema experience of Predator Badlands. And then we're going to touch on a bunch of sort of news. It's going to be sort of future-gazing, wishy-washy, jumping all over the place chit-chat today on a friendly film take. But let's start with Predator Badlands. I've seen it. I don't think you have.
I have not.
It's the third Predator movie from director Dan Trachtenberg, starting off with the straight to Disney Plus and Hulu film Prey in 2022, which was very, very good. Sort of put the franchise back to square one with the sort of evoking the premise of the original, which was man versus beast with Arnold Schwarzenegger, but this time it was woman versus beast. Set in sort of Native American times. It was Naru. She was a sort of a member of a tribe, and she wanted to be a hunter. And they were like, "You're a woman. You can't be." You know, all those sort of weird societal norms that plagued women for
today
and sometimes today. Anyway, she faces off against a predator. It's very, very good. He then followed that up with a animated anthology movie called Predator: Killer of Killers that came out earlier this year, which I keep telling you to watch, Rhys, and I don't think you have.
Sorry.
Should get on it. And now we have Predator Badlands, which came out a few weeks ago, so it was a bit of a late review. Sorry, guys. Another new spin on the franchise where it puts the Predator as the central protagonist. We have Dek who is a Yautja, which is actually what the aliens in the Predator franchise are called. But he's kind of like the run to the litter, and the film sort of starts off with him being shunned, and he decides to go to this planet where everything's designed to sort of kill you to get his first like big prey, this sort of unkillable beast, to sort of basically earn his
With
place
himself.
in his
Fine.
tribe. Yes,
Fancy.
but this is also, I believe, the first film in the franchise that is a 12A or
Well, this is what I saw,
PG-13.
and it made me. There was a hesitancy, and there still is, because I think with a Predator film, they take trophies. There's gore, there's gross, there's action, there's violence. So the idea of it being a 12A has thrown me entirely. What was your take on that?
Well, I initially, when I saw that it was 12A, had the same feelings because I quite enjoyed the gore and the violence and the fear factor of Predator movies. I've now seen this film twice. It opened to 80 million worldwide on its opening weekend, and it's
Pretty
kind
great.
of maybe slowed down a little bit since. It's something around about, let me look. It's on about 140 million so far. It's gross, and Rotten Tomatoes is being well received, 86% by critics, 95-ish by audiences. So people are enjoying it because it's a fun adventure movie. As in, you've got this predator who's on his little quest. You sort of, you're willing him to succeed. He partners up with Ella Fanning's Wayland Yutani synth called Tia.
Little alien crossover there.
And yes, which obviously Predator has done before. And I'm guessing we're kind of hinting to that probably happening again. And let's face it, in the world of franchise IP crossovers, I mean, we've got Godzilla vs King Kong, 55 coming out soon, or whatever, however many of those they're doing. So it feels like we may be naturally going to that place.
Let's hope it's good this time.
Yes. Interestingly, Elle Fanning's playing two synths. One who's got more nefarious, more corporation motivated intentions, and basically becomes the antagonist of the piece. I don't think that's a spoiler. Let's face it, it's not a spoiler. Even if it is, I'm not particularly.
You're checking yourself right now, going.
It's not a spoiler. It's not something that's revealed. Like, it's not like a plot twist that comes right at the end. It's from middle to end of first act material.
Fine.
But you get away with it being a 12A because it's Deck fighting Deck the Yautja fighting CG monsters or synths. So there is a lot of killing.
I understand.
But it's not killing anything that's bleeding red blood and bleeding or spilling out human organs. So that's
that makes sense.
Do that. There's also a cute little alien creature that's in the film. It's a bit Disney-fied. So it was an enjoyable, entertaining watch, but for me, it wasn't really a Predator movie.
Do you think because it's
a
step away from kind of man versus beast violence of those classic, even the Shane Black one from a handful of years ago now, was that it was the super ragtag team of super soldiers versus a predator? That do you think that Disneyification of it has led to that kind of step removal for you?
I think so, and I think there's a number of reasons why they've done what they've done. Because let's face it, it's the same director who's directed Killer of Killers, which is just great. You're seeing different predators fighting different humans in different points of history. So that's great. That's violent, even though it's animated, but it's really violent. It's in a similar style to Arcane in terms of its visual presentation. Nice. And then Prey is obviously super violent as well, and very much the original premise of films. But I think neither of those went to cinemas. This is the first one that's gone to cinemas since the Shane Black one. I think it was the Shane Black one. 2018. Whatever the most
yeah, that was the last one.
was. So I think they've gone, well, if we're bringing this franchise back to cinemas, we want it to be a success. So let's bring it out of the 15 R rating to give ourselves a wider audience. Let's bring in certain elements that we know work well across our other franchise properties. So that's, your aliens, your quippy character, blah, 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 blah. So I think that's why they've done that. But... and maybe to go after a big box office get, which I guess this is going to get. I mean, I don't know where this will end up, but it's not. I don't think it's going to end up being a massive success. Whereas I feel like a film like Prey, which was probably shot for a medium studio budget, 20 to 50 million. So that's maybe a small studio budget these days. I feel like that would have earned its money back if they were brave with it.
But you also think there's a logic with if you open it up to the 12A audience, which means you can have children younger than 12 go and see it just with parental supervision, that actually in your roadmap for Predator films, Predator TV shows, whatever they'll do with it, crossover with Alien, that actually you're opening the doors to 12-year-olds who will be 15 when you bring those things together. So you're kind of agitating a new audience for it.
I quite like that. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good point as well that you've made there. Yeah, I agree. And I mean, we've seen in recent times like Minecraft, Mario, the younger audiences are driving what box office. So there's a lot of reasons why I think this has happened. Also, throughout the promo of this film, the director has constantly been going on about his plans for other movies. So talking about returning to Prey with a direct sequel to that. Being very coy anytime he's asked about further crossover potential with the Alien franchise. He's friends with the director who did Alien Romulus.
Fede Alvarez.
That's the one. Who's not going to be directing the follow-up to Romulus, but is overseeing it in a producing capacity, all that sort of stuff. But anyway, so I think as well, this might have been like, we're going to give you the keys to theatrical release. Here are some contingencies. Let's hope to make sure this does well, and then we'll let you play around again in the R-rated 15 toolbox for future cinema releases. That's my hope, and that's my thing.
Yeah, God, yeah.
Because I think, as much as I enjoyed this movie, I would like a return to the more violent
trophy collecting. There's a.
Then again, it's like I enjoyed Deck as a character and I'm watching his journey, but I don't want to feel like when I'm watching the next Predator movie, I don't want to be like. I'm hoping that this film doesn't make me feel less fearful of the predators that turn up in subsequent films.
Interesting. If they've gone for that kind of humanization, I guess, which is what it sounds like, of he is on his hero's journey, he is going and,
or just have to make it a more sympathetic antagonist moving forward. You're like, oh, well, we care about his journey as much as, their journey. But so that's where I enjoy the film. It was a bit of a departure from what Predator films are. I feel like you kind of need to put it in its own little box.
How was where did you go and see it?
I went to see it. So first time round, I went to see it with Eden, and we went to Odeon Salisbury, and we were in Screen 2. I haven't been in Screen 2 of Odeon Salisbury for a while, but basically, folks, if you're in Salisbury, that is the screen to go for in that Odeon. Because Screen 1 is the big theatre one, which we've talked about on previous episodes, where the acoustics is all over the place. Whereas Screen 2 is a good sort of medium to large screen, good amount of seats, nice and comfy, good amount of leg room, even for tall people. The acoustics are pretty good in there, and you still get the sort of wonderful, whimsy, vintage, old theatre style that is that building. So that's where I saw it for the first time around. Second time around is when my dad wants to go see it, who's obviously a fan of the franchise, because he was,
teenager,
younger than me. He was in his early 20s when the first one came out. So that's weird to think. So obviously he's enjoyed the franchise all the way through. But we went to see Odeon in Bournemouth, which is
The
a more
BH2.
BH2, which has been around for like 10 years now, maybe a
Yeah.
little bit less. Screen 5, which used to have like a children's soft play area in the
I
front.
remember the one. Yeah.
Only screenings. Horrible idea. But now it has double beds, which is very bizarre.
What?
Yes. So a normal sort of smallish screen, like 50, 60 seats. And then in the front, where the front 2 rows would be, there were 3 double beds. And I found that very odd.
Yeah.
All the people who booked those were late arrivals, and they all came in and they were like a bit confused, as if they didn't realise what they'd booked. And I just thought it was an odd experience. I mean, you could kind of see, and then we're elevated. So it's like you're watching a film in the cinema, in bed, with like 50 or so people behind you, watching you watch the film from a horizontal position.
That's
Very
odd.
I wonder what I should have gone down there and checked, like what the view was like.
What are you considering next time you go?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. No, because I mean, I think if you wanted the bed to yourself was like £19. Who's coming into a cinema by themselves and selecting a double bed for themselves to sit alone? That's odd.
Yeah.
And then it went to like £29 if there was 2 of you. So, but that, I guess that you split the costs. And then there was 3 of you. All bets are off. It's
Bournemouth, what are we doing?
It's like 33 quid. Who's got that money to splash on going to the cinema?
Number one.
I don't know. I was also a bit irked because I was obviously I'm Odeon Limitless.
Mm.
The seats we selected I had to pay a £2 premium for. But when I arrived, I thought, oh, they must be recliners or something like that, or Premier.
Yeah.
When I arrived, they felt like bog standard seats. And then the one my dad was sitting in, like the leather had started cracking away. And I was like, why am I paying £2 extra for this? So I was a bit peeved. Odeon Bournemouth, please do better. And I don't understand the whole bed sits.
Did it move? Was there a because
it had like pillows? But then again, like people have been lying. Who else has been lying there?
No.
I really don't know.
I wouldn't get into an Odeon bed screening, knowing that somebody else before me had also purchased a ticket for the Odeon bed screening. As you say, all bets are off. That's
the ick. What I think would work is if you had one screen which was exclusively beds.
So that you could have like do you
remember group screenings, like group
do that for horror films and have it like you would have sleepovers and you'd all sit around the TV. Yeah, 100%. I get
whatever it is. But I mean, with some intense disinfectant between screenings, intense scrub down.
But I also wouldn't want to.
Imagine if you're in bed and you're rolling around someone else's old popcorn.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want to get on a wipe clean bed.
But I think it's
right.
I mean, obviously, cinemas these days are trying all sorts of different things to persuade you to get off your couch, not watch Netflix, and
but don't be trying that.
I think, and I believe, through our previous discussions, especially on the last time we spoke, the cinema experience in itself in this post-COVID world is enough to compel you to go out and enjoy the shared experience.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to be trying things like beds. I get maybe things like Everyman, where if you want to do it as like your monthly treat, you then get a comfy sort of old plush vintage sofa chair, and you can get food and drink brought to you whilst the trailers and stuff are on.
Notting Hill Everyman, we went and saw All of Us Strangers, and we were in a proper old like Chesterfield sofa, beyond comfortable, and there was a little button that you'd like just scan, and then you can have food and drinks and things like that. That's a gorgeous experience. That was near £45. So you're paying for that premium. I understand that as you say, it's like a little treat.
Yeah.
But if you go into the local Odeon and you're going to go and watch, so I think it's dictated by what you're going to go and see.
Yes. I think as well, with the Bournemouth Odeon, it's not that old, and it already feels
It feels a bit janky.
like
Yeah.
seeing those seats with the cracked leather and stuff like that. I'm like, it's lost what was its USP, which was when it launched. It felt really nice, new, glitzy, glamoury. Now it just feels like any old cinema. Whereas Salisbury, I will forgive some of its screens if the seats are a bit uncomfortable, it's a bit cramped, because it's a really nice, characterful place.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had some really enjoyable screening experiences there recently. But then you go to the showcase, everything there's a recliner. So you get a very comfy, big screens. There's also like the X Plus, which is a sort of, I guess, faux large format experience.
Fine.
Like yeah, IMAX, but not IMAX. Like it's just a big screen, but it's a big screen. And there's days where you can go cheaper for showcase and blah blah blah. But beds, I don't think beds are where it's at.
No,
I'm not
absolutely.
sure. I think we could draw a line under that.
If we swing back to, so this is a conversation that we had a little while ago now, which is, if the cinemas need to be making money to stay alive, to give the theatre experience, do they, and this is my belief, bypass your independent releases that are not big spectacle movies? And does the pricing structure mirror something like going to the theatre? Going and seeing The Lion King on the West End, you are £50 a ticket, you are £60 a ticket. I think you need popcorn. I think you need a poster attached to that. I think you need a digital code so that you can download the film when it is released. But do you feel like this? So there is an additional.
I don't think that works. I don't know if you can get away with that. I just think cost of living and stuff. How much is a poster worth and a digital code to a film that you may not even like?
This is very true, but
I think just keeping costs controlled and making sure that the cinema you're in is nice, competent, and then I think it's up to the marketing of the people making these films. It's up to the film studios, filmmakers, film marketers to drive bums to seats and serve the cinema chains, because they're the distribution network. They're doing their bit for, they've created the vessel for these people to show their creations. So I think they deserve the helping hand. I don't think they need to be putting out too many olive branches to convince people to go watch people's films. I think the filmmakers, the film studios, film marketers need to be
working harder
for the cinemas, not the other way around. That's my opinion on that.
I like that.
Right. Have you watched Frankenstein yet?
I have not watched Frankenstein.
You've not? Okay. Did I put you off?
Yes, and seeing people's, I read a non-critic review of it, which was that everything, because it's studio shot, everything's brightly lit, everything's nicely crisp and in detail, that whilst it has the initial sheen of what is a gothic horror, actually it's so manufactured that you're losing that kind of gothic energy. It's a lot of, from what I can understand, ideas as service to make you think that what you're seeing is these horrible, harrowing things, but actually there's no substance below the surface.
I can get on board with that. It feels like it's shallow in its depth.
There we go.
It could probably. I don't think it was shot. It must have been shot digitally, surely.
Oh, that was another complaint. Is somebody said that you need the film grain. It should have been shot on 35 to give it that additional kind of realistic element. So no, the further I see, or the more and more I see of it, the less and less I am inclined. And I can't even use the excuse, I'll watch it when it's on streaming.
Because it already is. Right. We're going to talk about some future things.
Hell yeah.
There's been a few announcements. Let's just get on with it because we've been waffling on already. So first of all, Paramount have decided, at long last, they're going to bring Star Trek back to the cinema. After this would be, 2016 was the last time we had a Star Trek film in theaters. Star Trek Beyond, which was considered a flop. Big budget, but it only grossed around 300 million. So after distribution and marketing considerations, probably didn't make any money. But ever since then, they've constantly talked about bringing back the Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Zoe Saldana, this cast of actors playing the original characters from Star Trek, the TV show that began in 1966 and was lovingly rebooted by J.J. Abrams with the first of these Star Trek movies in 2009, I believe.
I'm going to call 2009.
But there's been all sorts of, I mean, there was talk a few years back, or even less than a few years back, that there was Star Trek 4 had been greenlit, but none of the actors knew anything about it. Quentin Tarantino had expressed
he had a horror
thing,
yeah.
I don't think Star Trek's quite campy. I don't think
you don't need it. You can have threat, you can have a kind of scary villain, but at the end of the day,
it needs to be family orientated.
Idris Elba's villain had that edge in the last.
I quite like Star Trek Beyond.
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
it was co-written by Simon Pegg. He was obviously playing,
and he's a mega fan of
Scotty. Yes, he was Scotty. Yeah, he was playing Scotty, wasn't he? Yeah, and obviously they've done a lot of TV series in the interim period, but now, the big wigs at Paramount, obviously after the new merger, they're now thinking big things. So they're going to have a new film with a new set of actors and possibly a new set of characters, which I'm not sure is a good idea. I think you either reboot the James T. Kirks of the world again, or, given that we've moved on some years, do you reboot Star Trek Next Generation? Jean-Luc Picard, Data. That would be my inclination. Would be to reboot the Jean-Luc Picard.
Reboot that. Would you get James McAvoy in that role?
Yeah, might as well.
I think that'd be great.
He would be great in a Star Trek movie. But more importantly, they've already picked who's going to be writing and directing. They've assigned it. And this is what excites me about it. And there's a pinch of irony anyway. So we've got Jonathan Goldstein and a John Francis Daly, whose most recent film work was the Dungeons and Dragons movie, which actually starred Chris Pine, and unfortunately was underserved at the box office. But I think that was a marketing problem, because that was a really fun movie.
That was a fun movie. I really loved it.
Ensemble cast, really faithfully adapting a well-established lore. It was camp, it was funny, adventurous. There was good threat, good characters. These sound like all the ingredients you'd want for a good Star Trek film. But not only that, they also directed Game Night, which we spoke about on
I love Game Night.
And they wrote Spider-Man Homecoming.
Fine. All right, fine.
So these are the guys who do
great villains, big spectacle, action. That's great.
They know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They also directed, I think they directed Horrible Bosses.
Oh, fun.
So, yeah. I guess there's a lot of comedy. They like comedy. But so I'm not quite excited by that. I don't no idea when it's coming out. No idea when.
Early days now.
Yes,
but
a while away.
That's some good news.
Yes, more good news. Let's move swiftly on. Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz are coming back for a fourth Mummy movie.
Yeah, they are.
That's very exciting. So what you say for the Mummy 4, even though there was a Mummy reboot in between this one and the Mummy Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, which was the last time we saw Brendan Fraser.
That wasn't
in that one because she got recast.
That is true. Yeah,
it wasn't very good. And the Mummy from 1999 and the Mummy Returns from 2001 or wherever it was, they were the fun, campy, great sort of family blockbuster adventures. And everybody loves Brendan Fraser. He's had his wonderful sort of renaissance. He's now an Oscar winner.
He is.
After sort of going out of the limelight for personal reasons and coming back in a really beautiful way. Rachel Weisz is obviously supremely talented, and they had a great chemistry in their original films.
In those originals.
So I'm really excited by this, and you'll be able to tell me a little bit more about the directing duo. that'll be doing this, who collectively call themselves Radio Silence.
Ooh.
And I'm going to see if I can read my really bad notes. I think it says Matt Bettinelli Olpin. I'm going to go with, let's say they call themselves Radio Silence. There's two people. Ready or Not is in their credits.
Oh, fun.
And the 2022 reboot of Scream, I suppose. Or
fine. Okay, so
Scream, is that the one which was just called Scream? And
that was just Scream.
There's since been a 5 and 6. But Ready or Not is a film that I've seen bits of.
So much fun. Chaos, but it's one of those kind of funny horror, yes, but it's more, I wouldn't even call it campy horror. It's like great practical effects, bloody, gross. That was kind of the humor to it. Great story, really like character dynamics were popping off, and then the ending, watch it because it's a horror film that you would be very, very fine with. It's not like jump scare or anything like that.
This is my mission, is to bed myself into being appreciative of horror.
Nice.
And not appreciative because I think I am, because obviously I can tell from afar that horror is driving creativity, is driving box office, is original thinking, original filmmakers. But I'm too much of a wuss to do it and find out for myself directly. So I need to ease myself in. Like I've seen The Shining and I've seen one of the movies, but I don't know if I've mentioned this, I once bunked a day off school in middle school because they were showing the others.
Oh, fun.
We started watching it and I was so terrified, or got in my head that I was so terrified. I don't know whether I bunked the next day off. I was much of a wuss. And then I came back in the next day and they still hadn't finished the bloody thing. I was like, oh no! And everybody was like, are you feeling okay? Are you feeling better? And I'm like,
no. White as a ghost.
Now I'm going to be sick. Yeah, but it meant that I could actually watch the really good plot twist at the end of that film.
Gorgeous plot twist. My God, if you've jumped to that.
I was like, I did not get this from the first 20 minutes.
When they're all sat around the table and doing the seance, and oh my God, and the screaming and the reveal. Yeah. I think you're right. I think you can categorize horror, or certainly commercial leaning horror, into 3 sections, which is crap that makes you jump,
which I'm not fussed about,
which I think is the mass market appeal, and that is the thing that is like, I don't want to have a physical reaction, I don't want to do that. So I'd argue that people would find that scarier than what I think we're starting to term as like intelligent horror. We've had a slew of that recently. Talk to Me, and Bring Her Back, Barbarian, by extension I'm going to put Sinners in there as well. So it's kind of horror with a brain for sure. Together, that kind of thing. And then you've got your trash / I'm just here to upset or assault your sensibilities as a human being, which can also be really, really fun, but you have to be in the right mood. So I think those last 2 categories are less objectively scary, and it's more conceptually, oh, that's gross, and it stays with you for weeks after, and that's
I want to watch Weapons because everybody tells me it's quite good.
You'll have a great time with Weapons.
I mean, I'm also kind of keen to like watch. I keep hearing people talk about Hereditary, but apparently that's terrifying.
I wouldn't, for you, I wouldn't start with Hereditary. I think something like Midsummer, if you've got a good 3 hours, again, it's the ideas and the kind of, you're fine with like gore and grossness, and there's a fair amount of that, but the concepts are the disturbing things.
Okay.
Rather than you're going to have a physical reaction and we're just out here to make you jump because a fridge door closed or whatever bullshit, or they try and swing. So I don't think you're a fan of that, and I think you get too in your head about that sort of stuff. I'd leave that all behind. The Nun 2, the Conjuring franchise, by and large, other than the first one, which is objectively a great movie. That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the jumps. or the
Do it.
build up.
Start with weapons. Start with weapons.
We'll start with weapons. Well, or we'll start with the Mummy 4.
Or the Mummy 4, because hell yeah.
Yeah, it'd be interesting as well. I mean, not to, because obviously Brendan Fraser, he's an older man now.
Sure.
He's also not in the same physical. I think it's fair to say he's not in the same physical condition as he was when he did the films originally. He's become a heavier set man, partially because of, I guess, time, age, and also partially because of the roles he's done recently.
That's fair.
So I think it'd be quite interesting to see how Father Time impacts the story and his character. And I'm actually this is also right. So comparative sort of to the Indiana Jones film that came out
This is what I was
last
thinking.
year, where we
Dial of
saw
Destiny.
80-year-old Indiana Jones, but he was still fighting and thumping people,
Doing
but
backflips
at the
and
same
shit.
time, the female role was kept young as Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and we could only see is it Karen Allen who plays Marion? I may have got her name
Yes,
wrong.
no, Karen Allen's the actor, yeah.
Until the very end of the movie, and that was the best scene in the whole movie. And I was just like, right, so we can see old Harrison Ford fighting around, but we can't see her in the movie. And we can't see the most interesting story element was their strained relationship because of the loss of their son. What are we not going to see? And also, she's the most famous, like, other than Indiana Jones, she's the most famous character in the franchise.
In the franchise, yeah.
I'm sorry, but screw you, Hollywood. Like, I want to
James
see
Mangold, who
made good movies. I'm like,
made
sorry,
great movies.
I wanted her in the whole film. Thank you very much.
I think he would have had his hands tied against what it was like a swan song, but arguably, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was exactly the same. Where you started the film with him locking himself in a fridge during a nuclear bomb test, or a bomb. It probably wasn't nuclear, but there was bomb testing in that little town, and he gets out of the fridge and he's absolutely fine, and there's not a cut or a bruise on him. And it's like, my brother's 65, so this is not happening.
But quite like Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, I guess similar ages. Their characters have gone through the same experience through time. I'm really excited to see that play out on screen
for an audience as well, because I hope the generations below us, it's at least 2 now because we're getting on a bit. It's almost like a restart for them as well. So I hope that there is a younger character that's almost like the protege of both of them. They get to hand it off. It's if they could have a swan song film, that would be amazing, because the Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, terrible.
Was not it. And then let's not talk about the Tom Cruise one.
I was voiceless when I left the screening in the BH2, and weirdly enough, in the screen with the children's play area at the bottom is where I went and saw that, and I was voiceless after I walked away.
Not in a good way.
That was a fever dream of nonsense.
That was meant to kick off a whole connected franchise of like
Javier Bardem, Johnny Depp was going to be the Invisible Man. It was
didn't happen. So but that sounds like that should be quite fun. So we've got further news, because we've also been seeing some DC rumors.
The current rumors has been a casting call for a mid to late 20s to early 30s female who is tall, who will be playing a edgy, muscular fighter type character. The brain immediately jumps to Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, who has already had a solo film announced, and a prequel TV series about her homeworld of Themyscira. So it kind of feels like we're going to get her debut in, I believe, the second Superman film is called Man of Tomorrow.
Correct.
Which is cool because we already know that they're actively casting for Brainiac. And Man of Tomorrow, based on the comic book run, is a team up, including Wonder Woman, with Lex Luthor, Superman, and they take on Brainiac. So if we're seeing a live action adaptation of that, that's a great Superman story. but it also feels like a great way to set up exactly the same as they did with Supergirl at the end of Superman. Is you're having that introduction to the character so that when the film drops, you're there, you're excited, you understand the person playing the character, so that's great. You can just get straight on with your movie as well. So yeah, I'm very very excited. I don't know who I would cast as Wonder Woman. We were talking about this the other day. The only name I can pull is Isa Gonzalez, who I think I first saw in Baby Driver.
Yep, that'll probably be the same for me. Yep.
Yeah, and then most recently, starring the back of our best friend's head, Fountain of Youth, as she was the secret agent trying to scupper somebody's plans of something.
Yeah, she's been in a string of bad movies.
She has. But she would make an excellent Wonder Woman, in my opinion.
Yeah, I believe so. A lot of people fan cast the actress from Andor. She's got Adriana. I don't know her name, but people will know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I think you sort of go to Latin actresses, don't you? Really, it's the kind of the sort of default what people go to. A lot of people fan cast Alexandra Daddario as well.
Not for me,
but I'm just keen to see where James Gunn goes with it. I mean, with David Corenswet Superman, he went for more of an unknown, or not a big name. And he obviously, I think he knocked it out of the park as Superman, to be honest.
He was a terrific Superman.
I think I think everybody wants to see more of his Clark Kent, because it was a very Superman-heavy film this year. But the fact that we've had Superman, next year we're getting Supergirl, and we're getting the Superman sequel in 2027.
They really fast-tracked it because they know people want it, but they want quality. That's my belief that's why they're taking so long with Batman Brave and the Bold.
They have to wait for
Wonder Woman
to get out of the way for that, I think, as well.
That's very true, actually. But also readily taking risks. You've got a Clayface movie, which I can't wait for, because I think that's such a rogue, like C-tier villain. But it's going to be a horror film written by Mike Flanagan, which is great. Haunting a Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor. Lots of great things behind him that it's like, it feels like Gunn is pulling together his own Justice League of great creators that are relatively unknown in a mega commercial way to go ahead and create, pieces of art, which I think, swinging it back to the MCU, I know that obviously he's blacklisted now, but Joss Whedon was that. He was a critical and indie darling that then suddenly was thrust into that mega commercial role.
But Ryan Coogler fits that purpose, doesn't he? Yeah,
exactly that. Fruitvale Station. Yeah. Whereas now, I think we've lost it.
I mean, we've got the Russos doing Avengers again because they've become the gun for hire for Marvel. But you look at the Russos outside of, there's been some pretty.
What was the
Grey Man? Would be one
Grey
of
Man. I remember seeing, and
so they've done some duds. But I'm trying to think who's directed some of the more recent fare, but. Enough. The Fantastic Four was done by the director of WandaVision.
That makes sense. Was that Matt Shackman?
That's the one. Yeah, but I'm interested. I think it would be very interesting to see how well Supergirl does next summer, especially since it's the same summer like Spider-Man's coming out. I don't think they're coming out. Hopefully, they're not coming out too close because I wouldn't want to go up against Spider-Man. But it'd be really interesting to see if that Supergirl movie can really do the business. And that will show that they're really cooking up something at DC, because Superman did great, did well at the box office, but it didn't do amazingly.
I think
we're still in superhero fatigue, I think.
For sure. But I think with DC in particular, you also had the spectre of the death of the Snyderverse, and there was a lot of it. Was weird that you had Superman fans,
quite a contentious subject as well, isn't it?
yeah, who then there was lots of infighting, and certainly in a lot of the communities I saw online, it was you're either Snyderverse or you're not. Whereas actually, it was like, well, you all love the character, so let's actually just enjoy a new take on it. I understand the upset and Cavill being a great Superman and all that sort of stuff, but also, so I do think that played an element of it as well, where people were reticent and perhaps have gone and watched it on streaming. Because I think the best tell for your film is an audience score that was as high as it was. Superhero films don't hit close to 4 on Letterboxd because that community of people are art-led cinephiles. Yeah. So actually, that is a true test of the film that you've made if you are hitting kind of the upper echelons of reviews. If you look at the last string of, if you look at the Snyderverse reviews,
yeah, not great.
No,
not great. Other news. Zelda. We saw a first look at the, and you're particularly happy about that because you're
so happy about that.
I've never played a Zelda game.
Oh, sort it out. Watch Elf and then play
Zelda.
Start with the Wind Waker. Get on.
I don't know much. I know that Zelda is one of these really beloved franchises. Do you think it's cross-culture powerful enough to perform as well with a film adaptation as Mario has or Minecraft has? Or do you think that it's going to have to be a bloody good movie to actually be a hit?
I think let's break it up geographically. I think the East markets will see it and love it, and that's where the dominant income is going to come from. From an IP export, Mario obviously is massive. It's basically a shoe-in. Obviously, they've just released the trailer for the Mario Brothers 2. Yeah. So that's kind of a shoe-in for success. It's obviously not as big as Mario. However, there's enough nerds like me that have wanted something like this, but I do think it has to be fantastic. The very concept of it, each game pretty much is exactly the same story, retold with new elements, but it's based on the game design of actually what is technologically available. In a nutshell, you've got a Kingdom of Hyrule, you've got Princess Zelda, who so typically the common misconception, and I hope this movie changes this, is that the guy in green is called Zelda. He's not.
Which I used to believe, but it's not.
There we go. So he's called Link, and he generally is the character that you play. And in slightly older stories in the games, you go and save the princess from this big evil monster called Ganon or Ganondorf. So break it down as bullet points.
Quite similar to Mario.
Is Mario. Is what it is. It's just a high fantasy concept version of Mario. In all of the games, or certainly all of the games that I've played, are fantastic. To the point where it's almost begging to have been turned into a film.
It's going to be, and it's live action, isn't it? It's going to be. I think we're going to get that really nice fantasy movie aesthetic.
Yeah. The cast of characters. I know that Impa, one of the kind of fan favorite characters, is going to be in it. You've got giant talking trees. You've got a moon with a giant face that threatens to blow up the entire world, and you have to reverse time. You have a talking hat. It's like they're so dense throughout all of the games that it's. I'm excited to see what they're going to pull from, and I truly hope that it will be a great movie. I can see it being a PG.
Quite young cast for the main characters.
Yeah, mid to late teens. In the leads, but they look. The beautiful thing is, so Bo Bragason looks like Zelda, which is fantastic because, and certainly a later Zelda, because original Zelda was kind of you didn't really see her that much, and she was in the tower, and you'd go and save her, and then Ganon would turn up, and you'd have your big fight and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know, there's a folklore element to it that I think an Anglican audience would love, because you have a lot of iconography from the myths of King Arthur, or the legends of King Arthur, sorry, with the Master Sword and the King Arthur's sword and all that sort of stuff. So I think there's elements of it that I think people will really respond to as well. But yes, my inner nerd and the person I based my hair off, little Link in his green tunic, can't wait. Genuinely can't wait.
Smashing. There we go. Do we know what year that's coming out? When's that coming out?
2027.
Oh, okay, a bit of a while away then.
Yeah, so they're shooting at the moment. Principal photography began end of October. I can't wait.
There we go. Sorry, I had to let a cat out. Cool. The only other bit of news I had written down was Tom Cruise got an honorary Oscar since we last spoke.
I saw that at the
big long speech.
Say that again.
He did a big long speech.
He did. I can't remember. There's a beautiful quote that he said, which was basically to the effect of "Movies are my life." Yeah. My life hasn't been about movies. Movies are my life. Something along those lines.
Yeah, he likes movies. Did you know that? Have you heard?
I've heard a rumor. I think it makes sense so that he can stop pushing for a stunt Oscar, because he will kill himself before they do that. So I feel like there's an element of like keep him safe, because but also with love to him, and he's obviously done films where he's played the dramatic role, or he's really, really pushed. So you've got something like Eyes Wide Shut, where actually he gives a really great performance. You can tell in his oeuvre that there has been a want for this. So to finally get that recognition.
So the award was presented to him by Alejandro Gonzalez Inarritu, who they've just finished shooting the Tom Cruise
film, isn't it?
Oscar vehicle that's going to come out next year, in one of the million slots that was originally meant for the Batman Part 2. But that's been delayed. That's now on the way for 2027. But anyway, so I think this is going to be used as the very, very, very early start point to the Cruise Oscar campaign that will gather pace when they're marketing for this film. So very deliberate that, and I think even in presenting it, I think Inarritu said something like an award like this is long overdue and yada yada yada. Yeah. So quickly, favorite Tom Cruise movie?
Jerry Maguire, or Eyes Wide Shut, or no, I'm going to stop there. Eyes Wide Shut.
I'm going to say Mission Impossible Fallout.
To be fair, I was talking about that the other day. Absolutely. I'm so glad you made me watch that. Fantastic.
Or I mean, I would put Top Gun Maverick for me. I thought was great, but I think because of how much Tom Cruise is Mission Impossible and how I think Fallout is the best one. Although I rewatched 4 recently as well, Ghost Protocol, and that is a lot of fun.
Is that the one with the Burj Khalifa?
Yes, yeah,
loved.
And I almost was like, but he was, as I was watching it, I was like, is this better than the 6th one? But I remember how I felt watching the 6th one unfold in the cinema, and I was like, no, that is the best one. Cool. We've been waffling on for a while. There's been a couple of smoke alarm breaks. So I think hopefully we'll still come in at under an hour. I may just chop bits out when we're waffling too much. But should we quickly say what we're looking forward to?
I think so.
You can start.
You thought I was going to say what I was looking forward to, but I
thought you were just going to launch into it, yeah. But if you could.
I will. Nice. Yeah, fine. In the interest of wrapping it up. Yeah, fine. I love Nick Cave. I love Nick Cave's music. I love the soundtracks that he does. He wrote a book which is despicable in mostly all of the right ways, called The Death of Bunny Monroe, which is one of those books that you just are like, this is never going to be adapted into any form of visual media. And lo and behold, they did, and it is now streaming and viewable on Sky Now TV, starring Matt Smith in the role of Bunny Monroe Sr., and with newcomer and his son, Bunny Monroe Jr. In short, it is a road trip-y type movie, TV show in 6 parts around the south coast of England, starting in Brighton. They're both heartbroken at the loss of their mother, and their father is a despicable, despicable man who does lots of terrible things. And I'm looking forward to... There's a serial killer on the loose that is, in effect, the Grim Reaper death. There's no spoilers for anything given the title of the TV show, but it's ultimately how somebody that despicable meets their comeuppance, but also a lot of the, I suppose, the entertainment value you get out of it. It's just how despicable this character can be.
Yeah, but do you know what's interesting from the trailers?
Mm.
They've made it look like a heartwarming redemption story of a sex addict father
Gorgeous.
who then comes to learn to basically ditch his sex addictness and look after his lovely son.
I love that is how it's been presented.
Look like, and that was enough to hook me in, actually, to then know that it may go in a slightly different direction. Also interests me.
The Guardian, I read the Guardian's 5-star review of it, and it is as deplorable as you could possibly hope. They've changed certain elements from Nick Cave's original book, which I think is quite right that they should have. But I love, everything I've seen from the marketing, where it's sunny and joyful, and it is going to be a heartwarming story of the slightly, a little bit dark, a little bit evil, but redemption at the end. I love that is the presentation. So yeah, very much looking forward to that.
I heard your laptop bong a minute ago, so I'm assuming it's about to die.
That was Amazon. That was my Alexa telling me that something is coming in the post tomorrow.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh, it's not your laptop dying. Okay. No? Well, I'm going to quickly say what I'm looking forward to. We're recording on a Friday. This Sunday coming up, I'm going to watch The Running Man and Wicked for Good back to back.
Oh, good.
That wasn't my original design, but just circumstances have sort of led me down that avenue. So
will you do it in a bed in Bournemouth?
I will not. I'll be in showcase in Southampton.
Gorgeous.
So I'll be in a nice plush reclined seat. And then Knives Out's coming out soon.
Wake up, dead man.
And I love Knives Out. I love everything about Knives Out. And this looks like it should live up to... Because I think the second one wasn't as good as the first. This one feels like it should live up to the first one a little bit more.
Nice.
But again, it's on Netflix again. And one of the criticisms I had of the second one, it felt like it had lost some of the seasoning.
Cinematic
seasoning. I don't know whether the first one was shot on film or just presented to look like it was shot on film. And it had a sort of... I know we're getting to the sort of whimsical film snobbery tone, but I was going to say it had... what was that? I can't even... Oh, it felt earthy. That was the really... And that's such a bullshit way to describe the effect of shooting on film or presenting something on film. But you know what
you mean. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Tangible.
Tangible brain.
I'm just waffling. I'm saying crap. But I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. And
nice. That sounds like a good way to spend Sunday.
Zootopia 2 next weekend as well.
I love Zootopia 1.
Zootopia was a great film. And Eden, I'm going to leave you with this. Eden said something really funny. We were looking at the trailer for Zootopia 2, and Eden looked at Judy Hopps and went, "That rabbit is built." Maybe slightly sort of feminine design of the bunny rabbit Judy Hopps. So I'm going to leave you with that. Yeah, thanks, Rhys, for waffling with me and enduring smoke alarms, and thank you for the people on the other end of us here. Apologies for me playing with pencil for the whole time. Apologies for waffling on for way too long. There'll be some nice jerky cuts where I decide to keep us under an hour. Like, subscribe, comment, tell us we're idiots, tell us we're geniuses, agree and debate in the comment section. Check out Film News Blitz, our website, our articles, which now include Rhys's penmanship. Follow us on socials as well at Film News Blitz across, you know what the social apps are. It's a Friday evening. I'm tired. Let's go.